A bird came down the walk. He did not know I saw. He bit an angleworm in halves and ate the fellow raw. And then he drank a dew from a convenient grass, and then hopped sidewise to the wall to let a beetle pass. He glanced with rapid eyes that hurried all abroad. They looked like frightened bees, I thought. He stirred his velvet head. Like one in danger, cautious, I offered him a crumb, and he unrolled his feathers and rode him softer home. Then oars divide the ocean to silver for a seam, or butterflies off banks of noon leap, flashless as they swim. Go ahead and reread the poem silently in your head. Collins is rereading. Elliot, Chris rereading. When you're done, just go ahead and take one. Sandy's writing it down. My friends, again, this is number 359 by Emily Dickinson. What's one thing from this poem? Because I asked you beforehand, I said, think about the ways that this one is a little bit different than some of the other poems that we've read. What's one thing that's maybe different about this poem than other poems that we've read? Grace? The title. Absolutely. Like, have we read a poem yet that's a number? No. Elliot's shaking his head no. Absolutely. What else is different about this poem? That's maybe unusual that we haven't seen before. Gabe, what are you thinking?
She gives up like a rhyme after the first two stanzas.
She gives up a rhyme. What do you mean by that?
In the second line and fourth line,
Okay.
there's a rhyme.
Saw and raw. Okay.
And then in the second and third line, second and fourth line of the second stanza, there's also
Grass and grass. Absolutely. So if we remember too, when we were talking about rhyme schemes, we can label each line with a letter, correct? The ones that rhyme. So if I label this line as A, oh wait, what would be the next line? B. Okay. And then wait, do walk though and halves, do those rhyme?
No.
No, so what letter am I gonna give this line?
C.
Okay, but
and B.
saw we said and raw rhyme, so what letter am I gonna give it? B. Okay. So this stanza has an A, B, C, B rhyming scheme. What about the next stanza? What letter should I put there? What letter should I put there, AJ? For the first line of the second stanza. Okay. He says A. Who agrees? Who disagrees? Ooh, I see some people that disagree. Chris, why do you disagree? So what letter should I put there instead of A? Why do you think I should put D? Do walk and do rhyme?
No.
No. So this is a new line with a new word that doesn't rhyme with something that we've already put. So it gets its own letter. So then we have A, B, C, B, D. What should the next one be? What should the next one be? Jake. E. And then what should the next one be for wall? Zachary, what do you think? What do we think? Do we agree? See, some agrees. Jake, what do you think though?
It should be B because saw and wall
Oh, because saw and raw rhyme.
and
Because wall rhymes with saw and raw.
no, it does not.
Wall, saw. I see what you're saying. And you know what's, wait, talk to the person next to you. Do we agree with Jake or should we do something different? Why? Talk to someone, talk to somebody. Emma, go with Caitlin. Caitlin, it is well past your time to finish your breakfast. Let's go.
It's not right. It's not right. You know.
We're gonna come together in 3. In 2. In 1. I really love that Xander. He was like 3. That is showing dependability and respect. Thank you so much, Xander. I also really appreciate how a lot of people turned to talk. I noticed especially Brave was being really inclusive and making sure that him and Julian got stuff to talk about. Okay, what do we think? What did we talk about? Should wall be F or should it be B? Cole.
It should be B.
Okay, Cole thinks it should be B. Elliot, what do you think? F. Okay, so we've got 2 dividing sides. Go ahead and raise your hand if you think it's B. Put your hand up. Raise your hand if you think it should be F. We do have a lot more people that have F, and you are right if you were F, okay? But I really like that opinion, Jake. I really liked how you said that because in a way, wall and saw and raw kind of rhyme. And one of the things that we just talked about is a slant rhyme. Say slant rhyme.
Slant rhyme.
When 2 words share the same final consonant sound. So example, crumb and home, each end with that sound. So you're kind of thinking about a slant rhyme in that case. But instead of it being the final sound, you're thinking of kind of more that medial sound or that middle sound, okay? There's going to be slant rhymes in here, but it's not that one, okay? So we have D, E, F. That kind of looks like an E because I put a little line underneath it. What? Hello? Okay, that's an F, right? And then E is also down here because grass and pass rhyme together. Absolutely, okay? So one thing that we noticed, that Gabe noticed that is different, is that these 2 stanzas share that rhyming scheme, but Gabe, you said it doesn't anymore? After that, who else noticed that? That after the first 2 stanzas, it does not follow this pattern. Okay, so we noticed that one thing that's different is this title. We also noticed this rhyming scheme is different. What's another thing that we noticed that's maybe a little different or a little odd about this poem? Maybe looking at it. Adia. Right? Anything that's different? Like maybe look at there's random things that are maybe. Go ahead, Adia.
I'm pretty sure it's like ocean and moon are like
Ooh, ocean and noon are kind of like that slanting rhyme, right? We haven't seen a poem that does a slanting rhyme yet. Nice job. Something else that we've noticed that's different, Collins. Oh. I want you to look at certain words in the middle of lines. What's maybe different about certain words, like beads? What's going on with beads, Collins? I don't know. Do we normally put a capital letter in the middle of the sentence? Have we seen poems do that yet? That aren't talking about names? Okay, so capital letters are randomly scattered throughout this butterflies, things, ocean. There's so many, right? Keep shouting them out. What else? What else?
Oh, the third one right there. Leaf. Look at leaf.
And birds.
Someone, what stanza are we talking about? Caitlin, what stanza, do you notice any more? Bird is the first stanza, I love that. Anyone else have one, tell me the stanzas, tell me what line. Hudson,
The last stanza, the third and fourth lines, noon and leaf.
last stanza. New. Anyone else, Julian?
In the middle stanza with lines, 8 and 7 and our both, these ones are nice. Yeah.
And like it. Yeah, also, every single line starts with a capital. But like these random ones in the middle, those are interesting to me. We haven't seen stuff like that, right? Anything else? Maybe about the punctuation that's different? Grace,
Oh, I was thinking this,
you were gonna say something about the what?
there's just,
Easton, would you open the door for this?
first it's talking about, the bird's point of view, and then it's talking about the author's point of view, and then it's just talking randomly with the last.
Okay, so like these three stanzas, they're talking about the birds, POV maybe. And then this one is talking about the speaker, whoever is, watching the bird. So we have these two different characters now in it, okay? Anything else maybe about, I'm thinking the punctuation's a little bit different than we've noticed before, Gabe.
Dash mark and there's only a period at the very end of the column.
Weird.
Oh, yeah.
So,
My head, velvet head.
and there's a dash, interesting. All right, my friends. So even though this poem is a little bit different than things that we've seen before, there should be some aspects of it that are the same. What are some things that we notice maybe about the organization, maybe about the different figurative language techniques that she uses? Talk to the person next to you. What are some things that she does that are the same?
I noticed that every single one of this.
Waterfall, waterfall. One thing that you and your partner talked about, Amaya.
We talked about how almost every stanza, except for the last one, had at least 2 sentences instead of the same one.
Whoa, wait, what do you mean by that? So if I'm looking here, I see he, and then this one is and, this one is he, this one is and you said not in the last stanza, okay? How many stanzas are there in total? Let's count, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many lines are in each stanza? Show me with your fingers. Ooh, I know that Jake knows. Shh. I know that Rosalind knows. I know that Zachary knows. Shh. Waiting on some hands. Yeah, there are 4 lines in each stanza. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we remember from our vocabulary at the beginning, that's called a quatrain. Say quatrain.
Quatrain.
Quatrains have how many lines in each stanza? 4. Right? So we've seen organizations like this before, right? We've seen stanzas broken down into lines. And we've even seen poems that have stanzas that are 4 lines. We've seen quatrains before, we just didn't have the need for it. Is there anything else that we recognize that's similar, Jessie, from other poems that we read?
Most poems have like more rhymes.
Okay, so most poems have more rhymes, but this poem does rhyme sometimes, right? We see especially that we said in the first stanza with the B, B, and E, E down here too, right? Do we see some slant rhymes? We know that slant rhymes are, wait, Parker, what are slant rhymes?
And rhymes are when I like
Do you think you see any slant rhymes? Yeah.
well in head because they go to
What stanza is that in? Can you count me?
3.
3. And you said
Well,
abroad and head. That's a slant rhyme because they both end with the same one. I completely agree. What is another one? Oh, I just called up Parker. I'm gonna give you a pass because you answered my question. What's another one? Hattie. Another slant rhyme. We know that slant rhymes are when the final sound is shared.
they both end.
Abroad and head. Can you pick a different stanza and see if there's any? I'm looking at stanza 4, and I'm looking at lines 2 and 4. What is the last sound of the word from, Hattie? What is the last sound of the word home? So this one, crumb and home, are slant rhymes too. Ooh, Aiden, what are you thinking?
How about thought and velvet?
Thought and velvet. What do we think? Talk to the person next to you. Thought and velvet. Go. Yeah, I would agree. Sometimes we have internal remedies. And it's really. I don't think this is for sure. And we're gonna come back in 3. We're gonna come back in 2. And 1. What do we think? We said thought and velvet. What do we think, Hudson?
They could, because like they both end in C. Like if velvet's not the last word in the line.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, that because this velvet isn't the last thing in the line, it wouldn't be considered a slant rhyme. But I like what you're thinking too. You're looking at that final sound and seeing if they match, right? The other ones that I was thinking of are seen and swim, ocean and noon, feathers, cautious, eyes and what? Thought?
No.
So we have a bunch of different slant rhymes. So I have a question for you guys. We know that in the first 2 stanzas, our author uses a rhyme scheming pattern that's very distinct and very different from the rest of the poem. Oftentimes, when poets and authors change their rhyme scheme, they have a meaning or purpose for that. Why do you think she starts with this A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E rhyme scheme and then changes to a slant rhyme poem? Talk to the person next to you. Go. Why does it change? Why does it change from here to here? Talk to the person next to you.
She's different. Yeah.
Maybe she was trying to like. Anyway, what?
Aside from the other people.
All right, we're gonna connect together in three. Jonas, we're sitting up in two. We're ready in one. That was pretty good. What are we thinking? What did we talk about? Maybe Julian.
I didn't really know.
Okay. Did Brave say anything? Did you guys talk about?
No, both of us were kind of stumped. We were trying to figure out one.
Okay, so we have the first two stanzas that have that A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E rhyme scheme, and then they switch to a slant rhyme. And I'm thinking back to what Grace had said earlier about maybe who the speaker and who is the focus in the beginning. What are we thinking, Eason? So in the beginning, we have a specific rhyme pattern and rhyme scheme, and then she switches in the last three stanzas, and she goes to a slant rhyme. Why do you think she starts with that A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E pattern in the first two stanzas, and then she switches it in the last three?
Maybe she wanted to be unique and switch it.
Maybe she wanted to be unique and switch it up. We know that Emily Dickinson was definitely known for her uniqueness and difference in poetry. Everly, what are you thinking? Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah.
Stefania, what are you thinking?
Adia and I agreed that the tone changes a little in the third, fourth, and fifth from the first and second.
Ooh, wait, show me tone. Show me tone. What does tone mean? Why do we go like this when we talk about tone? Gabe?
Can I also?
Yep, you can answer twofold.
So we do that because tone is like attitude and.
Tone is attitude. Show me attitude. And show me tone. So it's the speaker's attitude towards something. So Stefania is saying that the speaker's tone or attitude is shifting. And Gabe, what do you think?
I think it's to change the point of view.
We said earlier, Grace said earlier, that the bird was kind of the subject in the first two stanzas. And even kind of the third one. But then all of a sudden, it kind of shifts to who's watching the bird, the speaker. So that might be a reason why it shifts too. Jake, what are you thinking? Maybe just slow it down. It was going really fast. This bird is really jumpy. He's getting his food. And then it's the speaker's point of view. It slows down. Stefania?
I disagree that it's the bird's point of view in the first couple of stanzas because it said bird and I.
Oh. So maybe not the bird's point of view. What should we say instead?
I think it's the point of view because it says
Okay.
I.
Okay, so it's still the speaker's point of view, but what is the speaker really focused on?
The bird.
The bird. Okay, so maybe the speaker is really focused on the bird. And then she shifts. Everly, last thought? That's okay. Okay? All right, really quick before we get into our activities today. Regarding this poem, number 359 by Emily Dickinson, I want to check for understanding. If you think that statement that I'm about to say is true, you're going to give a thumbs up. If you think it's false, you're going to give a
Thumbs down.
If it's true, you're going to give a
Thumbs up.
If it's false, you're going to give a
Thumbs down.
All right, listen to this. A quatrain is composed of 5 lines. Show me silently. A quatrain is composed of 5 lines. Waiting on 2 thumbs. If you have your thumb down, that is right. How many lines does a quatrain have? Ooh, Eason.
4 because quad is 4.
Yeah, qua. And I like how Eason, he was raising his hand, he was holding up his 4 too. Okay. So qua is how many? 4. A quatrain has how many lines?
4.
Ready? Changes in a poem's rhyme scheme typically reveal something about the poem's. A change in rhyme scheme typically shows something about a poem's meaning. Waiting on 3 thumbs on the sheet. This one's true, okay? So when we have this change in rhyme scheme from the first 2 stanzas to the last 3, there's usually a change in meaning. There's a change and there's a reason why she's doing that. All right, last one. Slant rhymes are words that do not rhyme exactly, but are still considered to rhyme. Words like ocean and noon, are those considered to rhyme? Show me with your thumb. Reading on 2 thumbs. Reading on 1 thumb. Show us reading thumb. Slant rhymes, show me what you mean. Slant rhymes are words that do not rhyme exactly, but are still considered to rhyme. Yes, do you agree with that? Or no, you don't? Big one. Yes, this one is true. So even though it's just that final consonant that is the same, they are still considered to rhyme. Okay, so we just read number 359 by Emily Dickinson, and we marked it up, we annotated it, okay? In the poem, we see a simile in line 3 of stanza 3. It says, they looked like frightened bees. She is comparing the eyes, the rapid eyes of this bird to a frightened bee. Okay? On a sticky note in a second, I'm going to ask you to write a sentence that describes the speaker's thoughts about the bird's flight and use a simile. Oop, my bad. Okay, so in the poem, they talk about the flight in the 4th stanza. And he unrolled his feathers and rode him softer home. Right? Then oars divided the ocean. So he unrolled his feathers and then he's flying through the air. Think about, what is she describing? What is she comparing his feathers to in the sky? Xander, what do you think? Yeah, like a boat with the oars that are flowing and pushing the boat along, okay? I'm going to give you a sticky note in a second. You're going to go back to your seat. I want you to describe the speaker's thoughts about the bird's flight and use a simile. You can use this sentence to start you. The bird, and we're specifically going to be talking about the bird's wings or flight, how they're flying, and you need to use a simile. Similes use what kind of words? What kind of words do similes use? Olivia. Then we compare 2 things using 2 kinds of words. Not mean the same thing. So I'm going to use a simile to describe Avery's, listen to my words, I'm going to use a simile to describe Avery's sweatshirt, right? Avery's sweatshirt was as blue as the sky. Yep, and you have to use 2 specific words. As or like, okay? So go ahead, I'm going to give you guys a sticky note in a second. You're going to use it to talk about the bird's flight and compare it using like or as. Capiche? Okay. You may go back to your seats. Looking for tables that are quiet. It's meant to. What is that for? Good strategy.
Yeah, so.
Ooh, I see that Xander got started right away when he got his sticky note. We are comparing the bird's flight using light or
I took a shower and then I just relaxed my.
the poem is also in our poet's journal. We are writing a way that the author describes the bird's flight using a simile. You can start by saying the bird or the bird's flight. Maybe the bird's flight was light. The bird's wing guided as if they were. When you have your sticky note done, you can stick it to the poem in your poet's journal. About 30 more seconds for us to write that sentence on the poem in your poet's journal. On the poem in your poet's journal. We'll start by saying the bird's flight. We're gonna give out examples in 10 seconds. And 3. And 2. Xander, put it away. And 1. Aiden, what'd you write? Okay, what are you gonna write? What do you think you're gonna write? The bird's flight was. Okay, Aiden, I'll come back to you. Okay. Avery, what'd you write?
I did the bird glided through the air like a boat moving along the water.
Ooh, the bird glided through the air like a boat floating on the water. I can really see that. I can really visualize that in my head. As the bird's flying, he's just gliding through. What else do we think? Nino's not here today. Roslyn.
Oh, I had the same one as you.
The exact same one. Everly, what'd you have?
I wrote the bird's flight was like a plane flying in a dangerous storm.
Ooh, the bird's flight was like a plane flying through a dangerous storm. I can kind of envision that, right? It's kind of wobbly. Maybe it's not so sure of itself. I like that one a lot. Brave.
I wrote the bird's wings flapped over the water like a boat.
Ooh, the bird's wings flapped over the water like a boat. I can visualize that bird gliding over the water just as if it's a boat. Last one, if you do not have something written down, there are plenty of examples that people have been sharing. Emma, last one. The bird's wings were what? Ooh, as if they were a plane going over the water. I love it. Tiny claps for those that share. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure you stick it to your poet's journal. We're going to skip over this part today. We are working on paraphrasing now. Okay? I'm going to give you guys a group of lines in a group. So if you're group 1, what lines are you? 1 and 2 of this stanza, of stanzas 1 and 2. So I'm going to say Avery and Collins, they are group 1. They have lines 1 and 2. They're trying to summarize and or paraphrase, get the gist of what's going on in those 2 lines. Group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Summarize. So if I was looking at these 2 lines, a bird came down the walk. He did not know I saw. What does that mean? What is she saying is happening in those 2 lines? Talk about it. Go. With your partner. We're working those summarizing and paraphrasing muscles this morning. When you've got the meaning, show me a 1 in the air. When you think you've got the meaning, show me a 1 in the air. What do you guys think is going on? Yeah, so he just bit him in half and he ate it. Yeah, like. And 2. Big 1. Ooh, thank you, Xander. Group 1, raise your hand. If you're group 1, raise your hand. Parker and AJ, what's going on in these first 2 lines? A bird came down the walk. He did not know I saw.
So a bird came down, the bird didn't see him.
Yeah, so the bird's just minding his own business. He just flew down. Group 2, raise your hand. Ooh, Stefania and Caitlin, what's happening in lines 3 and 4? He bit an angleworm in half and ate the fellow raw.
He just said, that's the one happening.
Yeah, so he just flew down. He landed. He doesn't know he's being watched. And he went and he bit a worm and he just ate it. Groups 3, raise your hand. Jake and Elliot, what's happening? And then he drank a dew from a convenient grass.
We were drinking some water from the night.
Yeah.
And the grass was nearby.
I love that. Say convenient, everyone.
Convenient.
Jake just said that the bird drank something that was or close by, because he knows that convenient means close by or nearby or easy. Raise your hand if you're group 4. Well, I know there's more than Julian and Zachary. What's going on in lines 7 and 8? And then hop sideways to the wall to let a beetle pass.
So I was wondering if the bird likes beetles or doesn't like beetles.
Ooh.
Because he could have hopped out of the way to be nice. Or he could have hopped out of the way because he's like, you're disgusting.
Yeah, so maybe he's like, oh, I don't really like beetles, so I'm hopping out of the way. That's a good inference that you're making because we don't like certain people, we might scoot away from them. Or maybe he's just a polite bird and he's just let that beetle pass too, right? Absolutely. In the first 2 stanzas, the bird is having breakfast, basically. It's flying down, it's eating that worm, it's drinking a little bit of water, and it's just doing its thing unnoticed, unwatched. Turn the page so that you have 6.1 open in front of you. Question 1. Actually, let me read the directions. The directions say, listen. Oh, I'll leave. The directions say to listen to stanza 3 as it is read aloud. Then answer the following questions. As I read stanza 3 aloud, I want you guys to start answering questions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the back. Stanza 3 is questions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Stanza 3. He glanced with rapid eyes that hurried all abroad. They looked like frightened bees, I thought. He stirred his velvet head. Question 1. What does the bird do in the first line of the stanza? Go ahead and summarize on your own what's happening in that first line of this stanza. Use complete sentences and answer question 1. What does the bird do in the first line of that stanza? What does the bird do in the first line of the stanza? What does the bird do, Jonas, in the first line? He glanced with rapid eyes. Question 2. Using context clues from the other words in the first 2 lines of the stanza, try to infer the meaning of the word abroad. Using these 2 lines, try to come up. You can't see the yellow all the way over there, and I know that. What do you know? What can you figure out? What does the word abroad mean? You can start number 2 with a sentence then that says the word abroad might mean. Ooh, I see that everybody's saying, I think that. That is such a great way to start number 2 as well. We also have the poem in our poet's journal. If you want to go on to 3, you may. It says, name the simile in the stanza. So in this whole thing, what is the simile? Okay, the simile is da, 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 da. He glanced with rapid eyes that hurried all abroad. They looked like frightened beads, I thought. He stirred his velvet edge. And question 4 says, what is the simile describing? Tell me with a quiet raised hand, what is the simile in this stanza? Patty? Not rapid eyes, because we know that similes compare two things. Rapid eyes is just describing what they're doing. Crazy. What is the simile, Chris?
They look like frightened bees.
Yes. They look like frightened bees. Hattie, you're right that when they talk about they, he's talking or she's talking about his eyes. The eyes look like rapid or frightened bees. Excuse me. If you're ready for question 5, you can too. What words in this stanza help you know how the bird might feel? Right words from the stanza and the way you believe the bird feels. Question 5 is on the back. You may do question 5 if you're ready as well. Questions? Whoa. The last two questions, questions 6 and 7. Questions 6 and 7 are all about stanza 4. Like one in danger, cautious, I offered him a crumb, and he unrolled his feathers and rode him softer home. Questions 6 and 7, I want you to answer on your own regarding this stanza. Question 6 says, who is like one in danger? Who is she referring to when she talks about that? And what does the speaker do? In line 4 or line 2 of stanza 4. We're finishing question 6 and question 7. If you need a challenge, those that need a challenge, give me your eyes. What we skipped earlier was we were talking about appositives and conjunctions. I have 3 sentences up here. Using a conjunction or an appositive, try to combine these sentences. You can put it on the back of your poem in your poet's journal. For example, I might say the speaker describes the actions of the bird in stanza 1 and describes the actions of the bird in stanza 2. I took those 2 sentences and I combined them using and. Right? Finish 6.1 in its entirety. And if you need a challenge, I want you to do this. Ooh, I see that Avery's taking on the challenge. I see that Parker's taking on the challenge. Okay.
What is the summary describe? They limit the part number. What is the
Look at those sentences on the board. Combine them.
Oh, I goodness. Or a positive. Like,
They try to challenge. Right. Did you see those 3 sentences like that?
underneath. The speaker describes the actions of the bird in stanza one. The speaker describes the actions of the bird in stanza two. There is a shift in stanza three. The speaker describes the bird's reaction to its surroundings. I'm gonna pick a conjunction or a positive one that you found in those sentences. I'm gonna pick a sentence. The speaker describes the actions of the bird in stanza one. But the speaker describes the actions of the bird in stanza two. That makes sense.
Nice. Did you try the challenge?
There's 6 and 7 on the back? Yeah. I did. What would the same one open with the bird like Oliver?
This both might be it's kind of acting like confusion. How do you try the challenge? Try the challenge. Try the challenge. So try it again. Do it again. Well, no. So how are you gonna combine these sentences? He tried the challenge. He's still working on that challenge. Using in a positive or conjunction. Ava wants to try the challenge. Yeah, but I know that you want to do this, and I want you to try it. Paragraph. I'm looking at all around. I've never been on the line. Waterfall, waterfall. Let's try it again. Waterfall, waterfall. Really appreciate those that were honestly trying the challenge. You should have all of 6.1 done with complete sentences. The last thing we're gonna do is looking at our word. Convenient. Say convenient. Convenient. We know that convenient means nearby or easy to find. In our poem, it says, and then he drank a dew from a convenient grass. I have a couple of things that I want to ask you. And I want you to think in your brain. Is that convenient or not so convenient? If it's convenient, I want you to give me a thumbs up. If it's not so convenient, give a thumbs down. Convenient is thumbs up. Not so convenient is thumbs down. Okay. Packing your backpack and placing it by the door the night before you leave for school. Is that convenient or not so convenient? Waiting for 3 thumbs. Packing your backpack the night before school. Is that convenient or not convenient? Waiting on Parker. This one is convenient. Keeping your dishes. Oh, I'll wait. Keeping your dishes in a room other than the kitchen. Is that convenient or not so convenient? Really appreciate Eason. He's got his eyes on me. He's waiting for others. Jesse, waiting on your thumb. Convenient or not so convenient? If I had to go get a dish from my living room every single time I wanted some food, that's not so convenient for me. Is this convenient or not so convenient? Building your house far away from grocery stores. Is that convenient or not so convenient? That is not so convenient for me. I like to eat. It's out of the way if I live far away from the grocery store. All right, last one. Putting a bowl of fruit on the table in case guests get hungry before dinner. Is that convenient for them or not so convenient for them? That is indeed convenient. All right, my friends, you may, if you are Chromebooks 1 through 11, turn in your poet's journal. We are done with this poet's journal, so you're going to turn it into my blue bin and grab your Chromebooks to get ready for win time. Oh, I'm sorry. I only said numbers 1 through 11 are doing this. Parker, grab your Chromebook too while you're up. If you are Chromebooks 12 through 20, you may go do it. And anyone else that needs to go turn in their poet's journal. And if they're from
The one was wiggly and then I glided it back.
yeah. Jonas is Zachary. Jonas is Zachary. I don't know if she's here this morning. Go ahead and take a seat. So get on my Excel and I'll give her a ball. All right, my friends. If you can hear me, touch your head. If you can hear me, touch your shoulders. If you can hear me, touch your nose. You should not have your hands on your computer. These are our 2 groups. Our Read 180 people know that they are logging on to Read 180 and getting started on their own work. If you are doing IXL, I have the things that you specifically need to work on that we made goals for. That is what you are working on in IXL. However, today is Monday. So Monday is a good day to keep up that maintenance of our arena. So today I would like you to go to your arena and make sure that you are up to date on all your skills. After the 15 minutes, you're gonna read. So then on Friday, we can do our read. Again, what that looks like is you are going to go to IXL. If you go to your IXL, you go on to IXL and you go down to your skill plan, or this is where your map arena will be as well. Okay? If you finish your arena, you're going to go to your skill plan and find what skills you need to work on. Everly, again, is this okay if I show yours?
Yeah.
Yep. I will go to mine. Mine looks different than yours because mine's the teacher view. But this is what Everly looks like. She is working on vocabulary, so she's gonna go down to vocabulary and make sure she has her skills good there. Capiche? Okay. These are goals that you set, that you're working on. This is who you become, who you want to be. Start with Rena.
I want you to focus on you, on your own computer. Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's so rude.
Let's do, not it. It is time to switch to your, choice book, whether that's fiction or nonfiction, depends on your goal. Also, I see a lot of students that think this time is to like sit right next to your buddy and kind of whisper and chat and goof around. That's not what this time is for. So you need to make sure that you are a good distance away from someone else to give yourself private room to do this work by yourself. Yeah. Give us about 30 seconds to settle down. It might be a good idea to have a little sticky note to kind of keep track of where you were, what you read. Ten, nine, eight, thank you. Okay? We were not talking with Eden?